Michael, congratulations, series victory. Obviously, there's a bit of concern about Watto. Have you had a selection meeting and decided what you're going to do for the next test?
We have, and that's what's taken a little while. Shane's out of the Sydney Test match, and Glenn Maxwell comes into the squad as a replacement for Watto, being the all-rounder. And the other change, well, not the change, but the other person on standby is Usman Khawaja for me once again. Obviously, I've got a bit of extra time now winning this game in 3 days to give myself every chance to be right for Sydney, and I'm really confident I'll be fit for Sydney, but Usman's on standby just in case.
So Maxwell plays as the all-rounder, you would think?
Maxwell comes into the squad as the all-rounder. So it's a squad of 13, and then we wait and see what the conditions are like in Sydney. I think the other all-rounder sits beside me right here, as he showed with the bat in this game. So we've got options. If we think the wicket's going to spin, you've got the option of Maxi. If you think there's going to be enough in there to play 4 fast bowlers and a spinner, you've got the all-rounder that sits beside me.
So does Wade or Mitch bat at, does Wade bat at 6 and Mitch or Maxwell bat at 7?
I would imagine that Wadey would bat at 6, and then either Maxwell or Mitch would bat at 7, whatever that decision is.
And you would go up to 4 if you're fit?
And I would go up to 4 if I'm fit. Yeah, I haven't thought about that, but yeah, I would go up, yeah, and then Huss would move to 5, definitely.
Thanks for your time.
You're welcome. Thanks for the questions. Thanks, guys.
Michael, having won that series very comprehensively today, does that mean that the Sydney Test and what you've got between now and going away is now thinking about India, and even that squad is half an eye on India?
For me, no, not at all. For me, I don't think we can afford to be too complacent as a team. I think we've still got a lot of work to do. I think we've learned a lot from the South African series, don't get me wrong, and I'm really proud of what we did today. I spoke after the South African series about there was times throughout the series we had momentum but didn't run with it for long enough or didn't capitalise and grab it with both hands, and I think we showed today that we've made an improvement from that series, and when we're on top, because of a very good day yesterday, we capitalised today, and credit has to go to the support staff and all the boys for a great performance throughout this Test match.
Chris? Mitch, you've hurt batsmen before and you've done so again today. I don't want to make you sound like a sadist or anything, but do you get a certain amount of satisfaction out of that, or does it reflect the fact that you bowled well?
I guess it was a plan for us. Obviously, in the last couple of days in Hobart, the boys went pretty hard at their batters, went with the short ball, and they didn't like it. So that was a plan through this Test match, was to get up their batters. Unfortunately for them, they got a few injuries out of it. So yeah, look, I mean, I've done it in the past, and it definitely helps you. You know, you don't have to get those last couple of wickets, but yeah, look, I think that intimidation factor definitely worked out there today, and we were able to keep on them, and we bowled really well as a team throughout this whole Test match and beat them very well.
How big a driving force was being left out in Hobart after you were one of the best bowlers in Perth?
I didn't let it get to me at all. I went back home and had some time with my family, and did a little bit of training, and then back in the squad here, and you know, worked hard in the nets, and then, you know, any opportunity I get to play for Australia, I'll go out there and do my best and to be as consistent as possible, and to be able to have a good game out there today or through this match was very nice. But obviously we've got to look forward to this next Test and hopefully keep driving it into them and win 3-0.
Rod?
Michael, if Shane's out and Usman's on standby for you, is there a potential sort of captain in waiting there who you've decided on if you are ruled out? Or
I haven't had that conversation with the selectors, to be honest. Not to say they haven't thought about it, I'm sure they have, but I don't know the answer to that question, I'm sorry.
Can I just confirm, is Stark still, does he come straight back in for Sydney? And so if Mitch doesn't play as the all-rounder, which of the quicks misses out?
Tough decision. Like I say, I don't think we have to worry about that right now. I think we've got an option there if the wicket looks like it's going to spin. We've got Glenn Maxwell. If it looks like it's can have a bit of grass on it, we've got the extra quick. So we'll have a look at conditions in Sydney before we make that decision.
And can you just talk about Jackson Bird's debut? What impressed you about him? And
his control, no doubt, with a new ball is an area that I think we've been looking for. There's no doubt about it. I think he probably filled that role of Ben Hilfenhaus. Be able to swing the ball away from the right-hander with a new ball and then take it across the left-hander off the wicket is a great strength. I think the one thing I really like about Jackson is you know what you're going to get. You know, I've seen him bowl enough in first-class cricket to know exactly what you're going to get. He bowled into the breeze the whole game and did a fantastic job for us. Again, I think on any given day you take your own wickets or score your own runs, but what gets, I think, forgotten is the work the guy does up the other end, and I think Birdie played a huge part in Mitch's success in the first innings, to be able to build pressure, and it allows a bowler like Mitch to be able to attack. So I think as an attack, the guys did a fantastic job. You know, Peter Siddle bowled, I think he bowled 14 overs for the game, so a lot of credit has to go to Mitch, Birdie, and obviously Nathan Lyon, who did a fantastic job.
Mitch, when you were back in Perth at the start of the year watching the Australian team going around, was there ever a moment where you just thought you'd never again be sitting where you are right now?
No. I know we've got a lot of young talent out there, and you know, the guys had been playing very well, but I didn't really, to be honest, I hadn't watched a lot of cricket through my injury, so I've always believed in myself, and having the time off, you know, it freshened me up mentally and physically, and I've spoken about this before, but yeah, no, look, I never had any doubts that I could get back to the international level. It was just an opportunity came about, obviously through a couple of injuries, which is unfortunate, but yeah, that's just the way it goes, and look, I'm really enjoying it at the moment, and every chance I get to go out there to perform, you know, I'm going to give it my best.
Jess?
Michael, will the fact the series has already won influence selection for Sydney, as in, like, would you be any more likely to pick Maxwell because you've got the India tour coming up?
I don't think so. Again, I'm one of 5 selectors, but in my view, it's about winning this Test match. I said that at the start of the series, that our goal was to win these 3 Test matches and really show that we learnt from the South African series. So far, we've done that. My goal hasn't changed.
And how do you rate his bowling compared to his batting? And do you think possibly, looking forward, can he and Lyon both be effective spinning the ball the same way?
Glenn Maxwell? Yeah. No doubt. I think they're 2 very different bowlers. And I think Glenn obviously brings that all-rounder package. He's very good in the field. He's scored plenty of runs for Victoria with the bat. I think he averages over 40 with the bat in first-class cricket. And he's had success with the ball. So he's the full package, no doubt about it. He's got that X factor about him. It's now about assessing conditions and making sure we pick the best 11.
Mitchell, why was it so easy to bowl to the Sri Lankans? Did you find them slow on their feet?
Why do I think it was easy? I didn't think it was easy. It's never easy at international level. I think that we found a bit of a weakness with them with the short ball on these wickets in Australia. So, like I said, in Hobart, they seem to struggle a little bit with the shorter ball, and yeah, look, we sort of went with it through this game early on, and they obviously didn't handle it as well as they would have liked, but it's never easy. You've still got to go out there, put the ball in the right spot, which is what we did. Like Michael said, you know, we all complemented each other as a bowling unit, and we did an exceptional job out there today.
Michael, when you lost the toss, did you have to fear anything?
When I lost the toss, did I?
Did you have to fear anything that you lost the toss? Anything that you will have to do?
Did I fear anything? Well, fortunately in a Test match, very rarely does a toss win or lose you the game. And generally around Australia, the wickets are pretty consistent. So in regards to losing the toss, I didn't fear that was going to have too much impact on the game. But I agree with what Mitch is saying. We know we're playing against a very good team. Sri Lanka have a lot of experience, or 2 great players in Jay Warner and Sangakkara, and they're vital wickets for us. So I think, you know, our bowlers deserve a lot of credit for the way they performed on day 1 on a pretty good wicket. And then we managed to have a little bit of luck in our batting innings to put up a good score, and the bowlers just capitalised on us having the momentum today.
Mitch, bit of a double one. Do you believe that you can be a genuine all-rounder, and were you sad to miss out on a ton on Aussie soil?
I mean, this all-rounder question's been asked
You didn't answer the first one.
Should have asked me that question.
So what was the whole question again?
Do you believe you can be a genuine all-rounder?
I think I can become an all-rounder. I've always enjoyed my batting. It's just being consistent with it. If I can take what I did out there today and yesterday into the future and be consistent with it, then I think I could become a good all-rounder. Time will tell.
And the second bit was where you said you missed out on a test ton on Aussie soil.
It would have been nice, but in the end, I'm not that upset about it. We had a lot of runs on the board, and I had an opportunity to score that 100 while I was out there anyway. So, look, it's a good score. I'm pretty happy with it, and we won the game. We did it well.
Yeah.
Michael, can you put a percentage on your chances of playing in Sydney? Are you confident, very confident, pretty confident, 70%?
I'll say the same thing I said before this test match. I'm always confident. You might need to ask Alex how he feels, but I feel like I'm certainly, I'm going to give myself every chance. I'm going to make sure I have the treatment I need to have, recover the way I need to recover, and I'm confident I'll be doing everything in my power to be on the SCG, that's for sure.
So, was it a bit sore when you went in, or is it become sore during the game?
No, I think it's more making sure it continues to improve. I didn't feel it when I was batting. It didn't restrict me batting at all. And I said that before the test match. The last thing I wanted to do, I'm no exception to anybody in that team. If you cannot perform at your best, in my opinion, in the selector's opinion, then you can't play for Australia, because we want to be the best we can be. We want to keep getting better every day, and we aren't good enough to play players at 70 or 80%. You need to be able to be at your best. So I wouldn't have taken the field if I thought I couldn't bat the way I've batted throughout the Australian summer, and it'll be no different in Sydney. Every player wants to play every game for Australia, and I think we've seen that over the past couple of weeks with guys missing out on test matches, and Mitch is a great example, missing in Hobart. He wants to play as much as anyone, and I wanted to play as much as anyone, but we have to be 100% fit, we have to be at our best, and we have to play the type of cricket we showed today.
So what are you feeling right now, and how does it compare with when you came in?
I feel great sitting down. It's nice. No, I don't think it's got worse, that's for sure. I just think it's more the thing with, I guess, my injury, it's about how you pull up as well. So yesterday I've batted for a fair bit of time and made 100, so I really need to assess over the next 24, 48 hours how I pull up. Continue with my strength program, continue with my recovery and maintenance work on my hamstring to make sure that I'm, again, 100% right for Sydney. So I think it's more precaution more than anything else.
Mitch, sort of besides Prasanna, Joe Wardner and Kumar in this match and Graham Smith a few years ago, can you recall any other batsmen who, after they've faced you have ended up either going off retired, hurt or not played the next test?
No, I don't remember. No, someone asked me in the... Oh, yeah, Callis, yeah. But he came back on.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. No, I don't really think I've hit too many blokes.
I think the other side that a lot of people don't get to see of Mitch is on the field, he's as aggressive as anybody, but he's the first guy today to walk into the change room, the Sri Lankan change room, and make sure everything's okay with Sangakkara. So, I think a lot of people don't get to see that side, that, he will fight hard, there's no doubt about it, and wants to have success for Australia and help us win. But off the field, he's the first guy to go and make sure, in this instance, Kumar's okay.
Yeah. Mitch, you really seem at the moment to be savouring all the moments that you're having out on the field. As you said, you feel refreshed. Is there a bit of a difference in attitude now, being in a structure where there's a lot of fast bowlers around? the team may change depending on conditions, how bowlers are feeling, all that kind of stuff, as opposed to maybe a couple of years ago when you were pretty much the first bowler picked for a pretty long period of time?
I think for me it just comes down to the belief and trusting in my ability. Yeah, just like I said, the time that I've had off, I've been able to reflect on a lot of things, and I guess for me, I probably got to the stage where I listened to a lot of outside influences, and yeah, that doesn't affect me anymore. I'm just happy with how I've come back and just making the most of the opportunities that I get. It's not every day you get to play for your country, and I'm really proud of the fact that I've played 49 tests now, and you know, you've just got to look to the future of each game, and if you get picked, you just go out there and make the most of it, and that's what I'm doing, and playing with a smile on my face.
Are you a lot happier playing for Australia now than you were before you took that break?
I mean, I've always been happy playing for Australia. It just got to the point where I was feeling the pressure, like it happens in professional sports. You can feel the pressure and start to believe in things that are said or outside influences, and it just got to that point for me. But yeah, look, I've just moved past that. I'm 31 now. I've been around the game for a long time now, and I think I've matured in that fact that I just have that belief in myself and just go out there and play my game and do the best job that I can.
John? Michael, given that Shane bowled almost 50 overs in Hobart, and given his history, was there any consideration given to him missing this game? And his latest injury, is that going to affect your approach to how much he actually bowls?
Like I've said for a while, that's really decided by Watto. He wants to be an all-rounder. So at this stage, it's about, if you're an all-rounder, you got to bat and bowl. So yeah, unless that changes in his mind, it won't change in mine. And we speak about it often. I think we're very lucky to have such a good player that can do both. He could be in the team as a bowler, he can be in the team as a batter. So we're very lucky there. And unfortunately in Hobart we lost Ben Hilfenhaus, so we really needed his overs. And this test, you never know how many overs he's going to bowl, but in a perfect world, no matter how many runs Sri Lanka scored in both innings, I don't think he would have bowled anywhere near as much as he did in Hobart, considering we had 3 other fast bowlers and Nathan Lyon. So, it's a tough one. It's about, there's certainly times that I try and look after him, especially batting in the top 4, whether it be open or batting at 4 now. I think the closer you get to us having to bat, I try and pull him off and make sure he's got time to freshen up before batting. And that certainly was a factor in moving him down to number 4, that it gave us the opportunity to use him more with the ball and still have time to recover before he walked out to bat. So, yeah, in my mind, unless anything's changed with Shane, I still see him as a fantastic all-rounder.
Last question, Mark.
Michael, you've said Mitch is not a certainty to play in Sydney. He can dominate and did today like very few people in the world can.
Yeah.
Is it a rod for your back in a selection sense that you can't pick them out of the match for the next test definitively?
I think that's life. I can't pick anybody right now. We've got 2 days of training before the first test, so it would be silly to announce an 11 players right now. What I can say is if you perform the way Mitchell Johnson did in this test match, it's going to be very hard to leave him out. There's no doubt about it. And I'll say the same about Mitchell Starc over the past couple of test matches. He's done really well. So it's about assessing where every player's at. It's about trying to pick our best 11 for the Sydney Test match, the team that we think can walk out there and win that test. That's my goal. That's my focus, and it always has been.
So has Mitch Johnson's performance affected Mitch Starc's selectability?
Ask that question, Has
Mitchell's performance here affected Starc's certainty to play?
Not at all. Mitchell Starc will definitely be playing in Sydney.